The research station hung in space like a metal spider, its long sensor arrays pointing toward the swirling darkness nearby. Alien scientists moved carefully through the hallways, their steps measured and slow. They all kept their distance from the viewing windows. Nobody wanted to look directly at what they called the abyss. Director Yoon stood at the main control center, his hands folded behind his back. The tall, gray-skinned alien beside him tapped at a screen filled with numbers. "Energy readings are higher today," said the alien scientist. "The abyss grows stronger." Director Yoon nodded. For 6 months, their team had watched this strange hole in space. The Galactic Confederation ordered them to study it from a safe distance. 3 ships had already disappeared into its depths. No one wanted to lose a 4th. "Has anything changed in the pattern?" Yoon asked. "No, sir. It still pulses every 12 hours. We still cannot predict its behavior beyond that." The room fell quiet as the scientists worked. Only the soft beeping of machines broke the silence. The fear was always there, hanging in the air like a bad smell. The abyss frightened even the bravest alien races. It broke all the rules they understood about space and time. The alarm sounded suddenly. Red lights flashed across the ceiling. "Director, we have an unidentified ship approaching," called out the security officer, his tentacles waving in alarm. On the main screen appeared a sleek white vessel. It was smaller than most spaceships, with smooth lines and bright blue lights along its sides. Most surprising was how fast it moved, heading directly toward the research station. "Open communication channels," ordered Yoon. The screen flickered. A human face appeared. A woman with short black hair and calm eyes. "This is Captain Sue of the Earth vessel Pioneer. We request permission to dock." The aliens looked at each other in confusion. They had heard of humans, a new species that had only recently discovered faster-than-light travel. But what were they doing here, so far from their home system? "This is a restricted research area," Yoon replied carefully. "The phenomenon we study is extremely dangerous." Captain Sue smiled. "We know about the abyss. In fact, we came to help you understand it." After careful security checks, the human ship docked with the station. 5 humans walked through the airlock, 3 men and 2 women. They wore simple blue uniforms without the heavy protection gear the aliens expected. They moved with surprising confidence. The aliens watched them carefully. Humans were still mysterious to many species. They were known to be unpredictable, sometimes foolishly brave. "Thank you for allowing us to visit," said Captain Sue, bowing slightly to Director Yoon. "We've been tracking your research from a distance." "How? Did you even know we were here?" asked the security chief. "We've been studying similar phenomena for decades," answered one of the human men. He introduced himself as Dr. Han, lead scientist. "Though nothing as large as this one." The aliens took their human guests to the main laboratory. The walls were covered with images of the abyss, a swirling dark hole that seemed to eat the stars around it. "We've lost 3 exploration vessels," explained Yoon. "They approached too close and were pulled in. No signals ever returned." Dr. Han nodded thoughtfully. "Your ships weren't properly equipped." He opened a case he had brought and removed a strange device. It looked like a small metal ball with glowing blue lines. "What is that?" asked the chief alien scientist. "We call it a gravity anchor," explained Dr. Han. "It creates a field that can resist the pull of spatial anomalies like the abyss." The aliens stared in disbelief. One of them, a tall being with 4 arms, stepped forward. "Impossible," he said. "The forces inside that void break all known physics, Captain." Sue smiled again. "That's why normal technology fails. But we've developed instruments that work differently." She turned to Dr. Han. "Show them the footage." Dr. Han connected a small device to the station's main screen. What appeared made the aliens gasp. The video showed a human ship, much smaller than Pioneer, approaching a mini version of the abyss. Instead of being pulled in helplessly, the ship glided along the edge of the swirling darkness, almost dancing with it. "This was our 3rd test," explained Dr. Han. "We've successfully navigated 5 similar phenomena since then." The aliens looked at each other in shock. Director Yoon studied the humans carefully. "Why would you even try such a dangerous thing?" he finally asked. Captain Su's expression grew serious. "Because the unknown isn't something to fear. It's something to understand. We believe the abyss isn't just a destructive force. It's a doorway." "A doorway to what?" asked Yoon. "That's what we came to find out," she replied. "And we'd like your help." The morning after their arrival, the humans began unpacking strange equipment from their ship. The aliens watched with a mixture of fear and curiosity. Engineer Choi, a quiet man with skilled hands, assembled what looked like a small metal sphere surrounded by rotating rings. "This is a gravity anchor," he explained to the gathered scientists. "It creates a bubble that can resist the pull of the abyss." Director Yoon frowned. "Our best shields failed against that force." "Your shields try to block it," said Choi. "Our technology works with it instead." Dr. Han joined them carrying a tablet filled with data. "We've studied similar phenomena near Earth, smaller, but the same basic properties." The alien scientist named Mrek couldn't hide his disbelief. "And you deliberately approach these dangerous anomalies?" "Of course," replied Dr. Han with a smile. "How else would we learn about them?" The research team gathered in the main laboratory that afternoon. Captain Su proposed their plan. A small drone ship would be equipped with both alien sensors and human gravity technology. It would approach the abyss, collect data, and, if possible, return. "This is against Confederation safety protocols," protested the security chief. "Your protocols haven't gotten you very far," noted Captain Su. 3 ships lost and still no real data. Director Yoon studied the plans carefully. After a long silence, he nodded. "We will try your way." They worked for 2 days to prepare the drone. Engineer Choi installed his gravity devices while alien technicians added their advanced sensors. The small craft looked odd with both technologies merged together, sleek alien metal combined with the bulky human equipment. "Will it really work?" asked Mrek privately to Director Yoon. "I don't know," admitted Yoon. "But these humans have something we don't." "Better technology?" "No," said Yoon. "Less fear." On the 3rd day, they gathered in the control room to launch the drone. Engineer Choi made final adjustments to the remote controls. "The drone will follow a predetermined path," explained Captain Su. "It will approach the abyss slowly, collect data, and then return. If your gravity anchor fails," began the security chief, "then we'll build a better one next time," Choi replied simply. The drone launched from the station's small bay. Everyone watched the screens as it moved toward the swirling darkness. The room was completely silent except for the beeping of monitoring equipment. "Approaching outer boundary," announced Dr. Han. "Gravity anchor activating now." On the screen, blue light pulsed around the drone. The small craft shuddered as it reached the edge of the abyss. For a moment, it seemed to stop completely. "It's working," whispered one of the alien scientists. Slowly, the drone continued forward. It didn't get pulled in violently like previous ships. Instead, it moved along the edge of the darkness as if skating on ice. The data began flowing into the station's computers. "These readings are incredible," said Mrek, studying the numbers. "We're getting information we've never seen before." The drone continued its careful dance with the abyss. It sent back images of swirling energy patterns and strange light formations. Then, without warning, the signal cut out. "We've lost contact," said Choi, his fingers moving quickly over the controls. The aliens looked at each other with knowing expressions. They had seen this before. Another ship lost to the darkness. Captain Su remained calm. "The gravity anchor has a recall function. Let's wait." They waited for hours. Some of the aliens left convinced the experiment had failed. Director Yoon stayed watching the humans. They didn't seem worried. They adjusted equipment and studied the data they had already collected. Just as the station's day cycle was ending, an alert sounded. "Something's coming back from the abyss," called out the monitoring officer. On the screen, they watched as the drone emerged from the darkness. It moved erratically, spinning slowly as it returned to the station. When they recovered the drone, everyone gathered to see what it had brought back. The small craft was covered in a strange, shimmering substance that seemed to change colors as they watched. "What is that?" asked Director Yoon. Engineer Choi carefully collected a sample in a special container. "We don't know yet, but it's something that exists inside the abyss." The sample analysis revealed something that shocked even the humans. The substance contained elements unknown to science, matter that shouldn't exist according to the laws of physics. That night, Director Yoon found Captain Sue on the observation deck, looking out at the abyss. "Your people approach danger differently than any species I've known," he said. Captain Sue nodded. "Where others see danger, we see possibility." "And what possibilities do you see in there?" he asked, pointing to the swirling darkness. "I think the abyss isn't destroying ships," she replied quietly. "I think it's taking them somewhere else. And now, thanks to your sensors and our gravity anchor, we might find out where." The station buzzed with energy in the days following the drone's return. Alien and human scientists worked side by side, analyzing the strange material collected from the abyss. Under powerful microscopes, the substance seemed alive, shifting and changing as they watched. "It doesn't follow any known physical laws," said Dr. Han, rubbing his tired eyes. "It's like it came from somewhere with different rules." Engineer Choi hadn't slept in 3 days. He worked constantly on a new design, a ship large enough for people to travel into the abyss. He called it the Pathfinder. "We need to go in ourselves," he explained to Director Yoon. "Remote devices can only tell us so much." The alien director looked troubled. "The Confederation has forbidden any manned missions to the abyss. They've sent orders specifically prohibiting what you're suggesting." "Then don't tell them," said Captain Sue simply. The aliens were shocked by this suggestion. Breaking rules was not in their nature. But the humans continued building their ship anyway, using parts from their own vessel. After a week, Engineer Choi called everyone to the station's construction bay. The Pathfinder sat ready, a small ship with room for 5 people. It looked strange, combining smooth human technology with the angular designs of alien equipment. "Who will pilot it?" asked Marek. "I will," said Choi without hesitation. Dr. Han stepped forward. "I'm going too." To everyone's surprise, Marek raised a hand. "I volunteer as well. My people have studied the abyss longer than anyone. I should represent the Confederation." Director Yoon frowned. "Marek, think carefully. This mission breaks every safety protocol. If you return, you might face serious consequences." "If we return," corrected Marek with a nervous smile, "we'll have made history." 2 more crew members joined, a human navigation expert named June, and an alien sensor specialist. 5 total, 3 humans and 2 aliens, would venture where no one had gone before. The night before launch, everyone was quiet. Captain Sue found Engineer Choi in the observation lounge looking out at the abyss. "Are you afraid?" she asked. Choi nodded slowly. "Only fools feel no fear, but I'm more curious than scared." "The improved gravity anchor will work," she assured him. "It's not that," he said. "I keep wondering, what if the abyss isn't just a place? What if it's trying to communicate?" Launch day arrived with tension filling the station. The 5 crew members wore special suits designed to protect against unknown conditions. Each carried small recorders to document everything they saw. "Communication will likely be lost once you enter the abyss," warned Director Yoon. "Your safe return window is 48 hours. After that..." He didn't finish the sentence. Everyone understood. Captain Sue embraced each human crew member. "Find something amazing," she told them. The Pathfinder departed slowly from the station. Everyone watched on screens as the small ship approached the swirling darkness. The improved gravity anchors glowed blue, creating a protective field around the vessel. "Approaching boundary," came Engineer Choi's voice over the radio. "Gravity anchors holding steady." "Beginning sensor sweep," added Marek. "Sending data now." The information flowing back to the station showed incredible energy readings. The Pathfinder moved carefully along the edge of the abyss, just as the drone had done. "We're going deeper," announced Choi. "Increasing anchor power." The ship edged closer to the center of the swirling darkness. The video feed began to distort. "Amazing," they heard Dr. Han say. The colors are impossible to describe. Something's pulling us, warned June. The anchors are struggling. Should we abort? Asked Marek, his voice tense. There was a pause, before Choi answered. No, let's ride it. Those were the last words they heard. The communication cut off abruptly as the Pathfinder slipped fully into the abyss. On the station's screens, the ship vanished completely. Captain Sue maintained a brave face, but her hands trembled slightly. Now we wait, she said. Hours passed, then days. The station fell into a gloomy silence. Some alien officials arrived, demanding explanations for the unauthorized mission. Director Yoon accepted full responsibility, protecting Captain Sue and her remaining crew. On the third day, most had given up hope. Even Captain Sue's optimism had faded. She sat alone in the observation room, staring at the abyss. Then the alarm sounded. Energy spike, called a technician. Something's coming out. Everyone rushed to the control room. On the screens, they watched as the abyss seemed to bulge outward. A flash of light burst forth, and there was the Pathfinder, spinning slowly, as it emerged. But the ship looked different. Its hull was covered in the same shimmering substance they had found on the drone, and it was broadcasting a signal unlike anything they had sent out with. When they finally established communication, Engineer Choi's voice came through, sounding strangely calm. We made it back, he said simply, and everything we thought we knew is wrong. The medical bay was crowded as doctors examined the Pathfinder's crew. Physically, they appeared unharmed, but something about them had changed. Their eyes held a distant look, as if seeing beyond the walls of the station. 3 days, mumbled Engineer Choi, checking the time display. It felt like hours to us. Director Yoon watched through the observation window. Captain Sue stood beside him. They seem different, she said softly. Experiencing something no one else has would change anyone, replied Yoon. Dr. Han was the first to speak coherently about what they had seen. The station gathered in the main hall as the crew prepared to share their findings. The room was packed with aliens and humans alike, all waiting breathlessly. The abyss is not what we thought, began Dr. Han, his voice steady but his hands shaking slightly. It's not empty space. It's not a destructive force. It's a gateway. He activated a display showing video recorded inside the abyss. Everyone gasped. Instead of darkness, they saw swirling colors and strange formations of light. As the Pathfinder had traveled deeper, the chaos had given way to patterns, beautiful, complex patterns that seemed almost designed. There's another universe. Inside, continued Dr. Han. A pocket of space where physics works differently. Marek stepped forward. The alien scientist looked both exhausted and excited. We encountered structures, he said, pointing to shapes in the recording. Massive objects floating in the void. They appear artificial. Are you saying someone built things in there? Asked an alien official. Some form of life? We saw no creatures, explained Engineer Choi, but these structures are too regular to be natural. Someone, or something, created them long ago. The most startling discovery came next. June, the navigation specialist, brought forward a sealed container. Inside was a small piece of crystalline material that glowed with an inner light. This element doesn't exist in our universe, he explained. Its atomic structure is impossible according to our physics, but inside the abyss, it's stable. The alien scientists crowded around the container, their instruments scanning the strange material. The energy readings are off the charts, one whispered. A piece this size contains more power than our largest reactors. Director Yoon looked troubled. The Confederation will want to exploit this discovery. That would be dangerous, warned Engineer Choi. We don't fully understand the abyss yet. News spread quickly beyond the station. Within days, ships from various alien worlds began arriving. Officials demanded access to the findings. Some wanted to send mining expeditions into the abyss immediately. Captain Sue found Marek alone in the lab late one night. The alien was studying the crystal with a distant expression. You've changed your mind about the abyss, she observed. Marek nodded slowly. Before I feared it because I didn't understand it. Now I fear it because I'm beginning to understand. What does that mean? The structures we saw weren't random, explained Marek. They formed patterns, like words in a language we can't read. I think the abyss is trying to communicate. The station became divided as more officials arrived. Some species wanted to exploit the strange materials. Others feared disturbing whatever might exist inside the abyss. Arguments broke out in meetings. Engineer Choi worked quietly through this chaos. He spent hours studying the data from their journey. One evening, he called Dr. Han and Captain Su to his workshop. Look at this, he said, showing them a complex diagram. The patterns we recorded inside match ancient symbols found on 12 different worlds. What does that mean? Asked Captain Su. It means we're not the first to discover the abyss, replied Dr. Han, his eyes wide. Others found it long ago. And they left messages, added Engineer Choi. I think they were trying to tell us something important. Director Yoon joined their secret meetings. Though bound by duty to the Confederation, he had come to trust the humans' approach. The officials want to send large ships into the abyss, he told them worriedly. They're building special mining vessels. That would be a mistake, said Engineer Choi. We need to understand the message first. Working together in secret, the humans and their alien allies began decoding the patterns from the abyss. They compared them to ancient writings and star maps from across the galaxy. On the 10th day after the Pathfinder's return, Dr. Han burst into Captain Su's quarters, his face pale. We've translated part of the message, he said, his voice shaking. It's a warning. About what? Asked Captain Su. The abyss isn't just a gateway, explained Dr. Han. It's a test. Those who enter seeking only to take are destroyed, but those who enter seeking to understand are shown the path forward. A path to what? Asked Director Yoon, who had joined them. Dr. Han looked at them all with wide eyes. To the creators of the abyss themselves. 3 months passed since the Pathfinder's journey into the abyss. The small research station had grown into a bustling complex, with ships from 12 different alien worlds docked at its ports. In the main hangar bay, a new vessel stood ready, larger than any that had come before. They called it the Horizon, and it represented something never seen in the galaxy before: true cooperation between species. Its hull combined technologies from 7 worlds. Its engines were a mix of alien power systems and human design principles. Engineer Choi walked through the ship's corridors, checking final systems. He stopped to admire how well everything had come together. 6 months ago, these alien species barely spoke to each other. Now they worked side by side. Is she ready? Asked Captain Su, joining him. Choi nodded. As ready as she'll ever be. The crew? Captain Su had been appointed mission commander, an honor that surprised even her. All prepared. 20 aliens and 15 humans, the best of each world. The warning they had discovered within the abyss had changed everything. Ancient civilizations had left messages about beings who existed beyond normal space and time. Beings who had created the abyss as a doorway between universes. But this doorway would only fully open to those who approached with the right intentions. Director Yoon, now promoted to Confederation Ambassador, called all crew members to the main hall for a final briefing. What you attempt today will change our understanding of the universe, he told them. For centuries, our species feared the abyss. We saw only danger there. He looked at the human crew members with respect. Our human friends showed us another way. They taught us to ride the darkness rather than run from it. Together, we will meet whatever waits beyond. The launch ceremony was broadcast across the galaxy. Billions of beings watched as the Horizon prepared for its historic journey. This would be no short trip. They planned to spend a full month exploring inside the abyss. Engineer Choi sat at his station on the bridge monitoring the improved gravity anchors. They were bigger and more powerful than those on the Pathfinder. Beside him sat Marek, no longer afraid but filled with scientific curiosity. Ready for final approach, announced Captain Su from the command chair. The Horizon moved smoothly toward the swirling darkness. As they neared the boundary, the gravity anchors activated automatically. Blue light surrounded the ship, protecting it from the strongest forces. "Boundary crossing in 30 seconds, called out the navigation officer. The entire crew fell silent. Many closed their eyes. Some said quiet prayers in their native languages. 10 seconds. Engineer Choi looked up from his controls. Through the main viewport, he could see the abyss opening before them, a swirling mix of dark and light that seemed to bend reality itself. Entering now, the transition was smoother than anyone expected. One moment they were in normal space. The next, they floated in a realm of impossible colors and strange physics. Outside the ship, energy patterns danced like living things. "All systems stable," reported Choi with a smile. "We're riding the void." Over the next few days, the horizon traveled deeper than the Pathfinder had ever gone. They discovered more structures, massive formations that floated in the strange space. Some appeared to be cities built for beings very different from any they knew. The most important discovery came on the 7th day. They found a central structure, a massive sphere that pulsed with inner light. As they approached, it began to change. "It's responding to our presence," said Marek excitedly. The sphere opened like a flower, revealing intricate patterns inside. Data flooded the ship's computers. Information about countless other abysses scattered throughout the galaxy. Maps to worlds they had never imagined. And something else. A message. "It's inviting us," whispered Dr. Han as he translated. "Inviting us to go further." Captain Sue gathered the crew to vote. This was beyond their original mission. Going further meant traveling to another universe entirely. "We came this far together," she said. "We decide together." The vote was unanimous. As the horizon prepared to travel beyond the abyss, Captain Sue recorded one final message to send back to the station. "We have learned that the abyss is not to be feared but understood. The beings who created it left these gateways as bridges between worlds. They want us to follow, to learn, to grow beyond our limited understanding." She looked around at her crew, humans and aliens working as one team. "What we found here isn't just a new place, it's a new way of being. Different species with different fears learning to ride the darkness together. Whatever we find on the other side, we face it as one galaxy, no longer divided." The signal reached the station just as the horizon passed beyond their sensors. Director Yoon watched the ship disappear from their screens, but unlike before, he felt no fear. Back on Earth and a dozen alien worlds, training centers opened to teach new explorers the human technique of void riding. Young aliens and humans studied together, learning to navigate the abyss and other anomalies. The universe had always been filled with darkness, but now they knew how to ride it together.